Hello everyone and welcome. So if you came from the other video, welcome. If you didn't, there is another video up on my channel where I showcase a certain amount of these builds in Replay Mod if you want to check that out. But this video is a walk and talk through of a Solarpunk village, city, I don't know, I'll call it a village. It's not super big that I made. If you don't know, Solarpunk is a style of build that focuses on combining futuristic elements with greenery and renewable energy. So you'll see that throughout the build. This is going to be a walk and talk through, so I'm just going to be walking through the build, highlighting certain aspects, and showcasing the interiors. So starting off over here, we have our little shrine religious area, which is comprised of a little fountain over here, just a basic little fountain that you can see up here. And if you come all the way over here, you can see, well, not all the way, 2 steps over here really, you can see a custom warped tree that is, I guess, like the highlight, if you will, of this area, and these little pillars and columns. Now the reason why these are so worn down, the rest of the build will be more pristine, if you will, is because I wanted these to kind of simulate or emulate ancient Roman and Greco columns and their own temples back in the day. If you don't know, those had basically large rectangular shapes with pillars and columns supporting them. So that's the emulation there. And then obviously they did have rectangular roofs, but I swapped, not rectangular, triangle roofs, but I swapped that out for a moss-topped area with some bone meal on it as well. Now, another thing to note, if you can see here, we are in a biosphere. That's basically just a white tinted glass dome that I put over the build. And all of these builds are in a biosphere for the most part, and they're all connected by these little tunnel networks that I will now be walking through here. So, walking through these tunnels, I'm just going to sprint through these tunnels, don't need to be so nice about it. I can just run through them. I'm going to now spin us out into one of the few buildings that isn't put under a biosphere, and that is the satellites. So the satellites are right out here, and these are your satellite builds. Now, the thing to note about this build is this build has 4 main different colors I'm working with, and on this build you can see 3 of them. The first one obviously is white, the second one is, if you come up to the top, orange, and the third one is blue or green. I'm going to say blue, and the reason why these are the colors that I'm going to be utilizing is the main blocks of this build is copper, which copper has an orange variance and blue-green, but I'm going to say blue variants. So blue, orange are the main colors of the build. White, even though this one, white is the main color. For most of the build, white is an accent color, and black/gray is the other accent here. So these are the satellites, as you can see, with the little satellites on top. They are exact replicas of each other, if you were wondering, with some decoration here. And you see this in all of the buildings. These azalea vines and actual vines are being scattered around this entire build to give it a little bit more texture and character. Now these also do have an interior. If I just step in through here, this interior is pretty simple. These interiors in general aren't going to be anything crazy. There's a custom furniture mod that will make them look a little bit better, but you have a little bed area here, some storage, and then this little staircase that you can go up to your other bedroom over here. And if you keep going up, you get to the top of the tower, and you get a little work area with a computer, which is essentially just a bed with a block over it, and then some other basic random blocks that I put over here to make it seem or look like, I guess you could say, a bit more of a work area. Kind of industrial work area, if you will. Now, if we keep going and we go back through this tunnel, we're going to now step into the main island pretty soon. Since that is a side island, this is comprised of 2 main islands and then the surrounding area. So my nose is not doing so well for whatever reason. If we keep on going, and I guess we will eventually get spit out of this tunnel into voila, this build here. So this biodome is comprised of 2 skyscrapers, as you can see, or not really skyscrapers, big buildings, I guess you could say, as well as some street lamps and a generator, which is just going to be scattered throughout a lot of biodomes in the build to fill up some space. Anyways, you can definitely see the black/gray accentation here and the green, not the green, the blue and orange as the main color palettes as well. Now, as always, you can see the azalea leaves, the vine leaves, the moss that I'm going to be using often as decoration around the windows. And another thing to note is you can see these random things. If you're confused on what these are just my best representation of kind of like futuristic stuff. So this is like an air conditioning unit, I think. And then anything with a lodestone and then basically a bunch of red wires around it is representing that kind of wired build design. Now these are some of the earlier skyscrapers, so before I went a little bit insane in the clutter, but nonetheless, they're pretty basic, pretty simple, and they just fill in this biosphere. The interiors of them are also pretty simple. This one is an office. You got your reception, 1, 2, 3 offices, they're all the exact same, and a meeting room at the top. This is a little apartment building. You have identical bathrooms and all of the levels on the orange side of the building, and then some basic bedrooms throughout. Most of the bedrooms are going to feature, or most of the apartments, I guess, are going to feature the same thing. A bed, some drawers for storage or clothes, a bathroom with a sink, not a sink, toilet, a shower, most of them have a sink, and most of these places also will have a kitchen, but I didn't put kitchens in these ones. So these are all your little bathroom designs. Now, another thing, the little note here is the roof. On the roof, there's going to be a couple of things you're going to see. Firstly, you're going to see some daylight sensors like this, and these are your solar panels. You're going to see these redstone torches. I don't know what these are. Maybe antennas or something. And then you also see these things on some of the roofs as well, and these are like bigger, better antennas, I guess you could say. Now, if we walk back down a path, we step into the greenhouse. So the greenhouse was originally planned to be an actual greenhouse, but I decided a greenhouse in a biosphere just doesn't make sense. So I made a very mini greenhouse instead of the big one that I planned, as you can see over here, which just has your traditional greenhouse interior. And then basically the rest of it is like a park of, more of the unique biomes. So you have a cherry tree here for the cherry grove, a mushroom here for the mushroom islands, and then bamboo here for bamboo jungles. So just more unique biomes or elements of them scattered throughout. The other thing about the greenhouse is it links to a lot of different builds. We get into a very claustrophobic biodome. It's quite smaller than really it should be. You can see you have to navigate narrowly through this little biome dome, and you get all the way into this build. So this is another basic one, as you can see, with your basic accentation and depth on the windows, some of those gadgets and gizmos you can see throughout, some balconies. On the top, you obviously have a little satellite of your own, a daylight sensor. You can also notice another thing that I want to point out is this. What is this? You probably saw something similar to this in these other builds. These are like your lift, your elevator. This is going to take you up to each of the floors. That way I can use more space in the interiors so I don't have to make stairs. The interiors, the bedrooms themselves are all pretty basic. They have a bathroom, and then just the rest of the build is just its own thing. But the cool interior is the bottom one here. You have your own little restaurant. You can walk in. The person sitting on this lectern will seat you down into one of the seating areas. You have your little kitchen in the back here. It's basic, it's simple, but this is that building. Now, if we go through the park once more, we go into another exit to the park behind the greenhouse. You're gonna have to weasel your way in to this one, where you get this small little apartment block, only 3 stories tall, with a little bulge in the middle. So this one is a little bit more open. You obviously have your generator. If you walk all the way around back, you can sit on the benches or maybe even play in the water. And as you can see, this one is actually the first apartment building, or the first of the non-farmhouse or non-decorative buildings that I've made. It has your classic designs on it. Another thing you can notice is you look at the top there, you can see trapdoors as windows, and you also see it on this floor as well. Trapdoors as windows. This won't remain true for most of my builds, but some of them, in the earlier builds, I did use this before I transitioned to mostly glass for these skyscrapers themselves. And yes, the roof does have your classic elements on it as well. So, when we walk in through the building here, we have a communal kitchen and bathroom. And then we can go into all of the apartments. So we have 2 apartments over here. Then we go back out the staircase. We have another one up on the top here. So yes, if you want to pee, want to shower, want to make food, you do have to go to the communal area. Now, we'll finally go into a big area over here. Our first big biodome. Voila! So this is, I think, probably one of the coolest views in the entire build, as you're just coming in, and it's just like this, I don't know, Studio Ghibli-esque vibe. But as you can see, there's huge skyscrapers, not huge, but pretty big skyscrapers just scattered throughout. But you have this quaint little building that you can first see here, and this is the library. So this library is done in a circular shape with a bulge in the middle before it concaves back into a dome-esque roof. And if you go in, you can see the bottom layer is done more like a wild area. So it's kind of very wild and messy. With some books, you have a lift here that will take you up to the 2nd floor, which has plenty of bookshelves and seating areas, and a moss-filled roof as well. Then when you come back down away from this little library build, you can step into your other builds here. So this building here is the first one where I started adding the little dingles and dangles of the aircon units and the lodestone-based decorations. As you can see on the sides of these white outings, it does have a little bit of a jut out after the 1st floor. And if we want to run around this build, you can see a little generator snuck in there. But this one is just barely prevented from peeking out through the biodome. You can see all of these little outings are in here. And if you step into the interiors of the build, you have Mart's or Marty's General Store here on the bottom to walk through. Then when you come back up to the lift over here, you can go into bedroom 1, which has 3 people, and its bathroom, apartment 2, and this is apartment 3. You have your top building here, your top level here for all the rooms, then your bottom over here for your bathroom and your kitchen and just other areas to, I guess, live in. Now, when we come out, we get spit out from the lift. Let's say we left the lift. We now can look at this building here. So this one is just a basic little building, as you can see. Some decoration, some prismarine deco, I think is probably the most interesting aspect of this one. Got your own little vines poking down. But over here, if we step in, you can see on the bottom floor of this, you have a little area for packaging, I guess, which is the same on the 2nd floor. And then you go into a apartment 1 here, apartment 2 here, apartment 3. Then you have some science laboratories over here on the top 2 floors with some green glass to accentuate. You also see this building does peek out through the biodome, which I think is really cool because you have like buildings that are peeking out through the biodome. But nonetheless, this is this one. And you also have this little fountain here to take up space. If you meander to the back, which you can see that there is a little bench for you to sit out here and look at the horizon of nothing. You can also walk over here onto the back area here and have a little bench, a custom tree, and there is another hidden seating area right here as well. And this is, of course, a big custom tree right here that is taking up a lot of the space of this build. Now, out here, this is a smaller apartment building, as you can see. Well, it's not just an apartment building. It's got your white outings, as that one had over here. A little satellite similar to the other build I showed you on the top. And of course, the lift right here. Now, when you go inside this building, you can see that there is a doctor's office here, before we get into our traditional apartments above. No need to really show these guys in depth, I think, but if you want to see them, they're here. You have like your bathroom out here, for instance. Like this one, same kind of vibe, etc. So you get the gist. Now when we come down, we get into what I think is probably the coolest building, in my opinion, which is this one. So these are two towers side by side to each other. They're the same height and dimensions, and they're connected by this semicircular little white outing right here. So when you step in to the lift over here, and if you want to go on the blue ones, these are all just the bathrooms. So they're all going to look the exact same. They're just going to look like this, your basic bathroom design. When you step into this one, you have your bedroom. So this is a single, double. They're all very similar to each other, so I won't showcase all of them. But if we come on to, let's say, this one here, and we want to go to a bathroom, what do? Well, if we walk through this little half circle here, we come out into a bathroom. And yeah, that's basically the entire point of this build as well. And you can see, I think one of the coolest perspectives in this entire build is coming from the top here, like here, and coming down. I think that's so cool, just to run, like, fall down through, or even just looking up is pretty cool as well. So this is like the first of the big areas, as you can see right here. It's got a lot of decoration. There's a lot of hidden little things you can find as well in this build that are just kind of scattered throughout. There is a secret actually here as well. I'm not gonna show that. I don't even know if you guys will be able to see this build ever, but whatever. Now we walk through a pretty long tunnel, so I'm just gonna, run through this one. It's a pretty long tunnel towards the town hall. So the town hall is a very weird it's not a traditional town hall, let's just say that. You get spit out into basically this circular area with this jutting circular monument in the middle. Now, if you walk around the circular area here, you can see that there's a nice seating area. There's an exit over there, which we'll get to in a second. And then there's also a little monumental area to whatever it means. I forgot what those mean in Latin, so don't hate me on it. Now, if you step into this little area here, you can see up, you have these weird little moss areas. And if you go up the ladder, you can see that these are meeting areas. So you can have meetings, I don't know, council maybe meets here, something meets here. If you go all the way up to the top, you have an interrogation room. So there is even little secrets in this utopian paradise. Yes, I thought this looked very 1984-esque, and that's why I made it. Now, for the rest of the build, obviously you just have your basic decoration. Your top obviously has your little flag, a banner, and then your open windowed roofs. Now, if we keep on walking, I did mention this little exit here. If we walk down and out this exit, you can see the airships and the first glimpse of probably what you've seen prior, which is these, the wind turbines. So the wind turbines obviously are all throughout the build. And then obviously you have your big boy airships. As well. These do also have interiors. So if you step in to this lift here and you go up, you have your captain's quarters. And then you have the area for people to sit and lounge as they travel to wherever they're going to. Now, if we continue to walk back this way, we will step into the first of the farms. Now, this farm was actually deleted by accident by me when I was trying to do something. And so I had to rebuild it. It's not as good as it first looked, but it's serviceable. I'm kind of sad because the first one I thought looked really good, and now it just looks okay, but whatever. I really had no motivation to rebuild that entire farm. So these farms are all going to be these little circular lands with these giant biospheres over them. So you can see you have these long, luscious wheat fields, as well as these float fields for different crops as well above the farm. Then when you go inside this little house, this was actually the first one it made. Although the first house was better than this, but we don't have to comment on that. You can see your little interior with your kitchen and your bedrooms. And I will point out the bathrooms that this one doesn't have because I didn't feel like making it. The other ones do have bathrooms, by the way. That one does not because of complications with deleting. Now, if we continue to walk through the tunnel regions, up these stairs, you actually see two different regions to go. We'll first step in here into another little farm. This one is a sugarcane farm. Right, so you have the floating, I guess, waterfall down into the sugarcane valley. You have that village across, the bridge across. You can step out into another little region here for sugarcane. Another sugarcane pond over here, and some storage behind, right here as well. Now, if we step over the bridge, I'll go across the bridge for the sake of going across the bridge. We step into this house. Now, the house has two different aspects here. Obviously, it has its living area, as you can see here. When we come up this ladder, it has its first bedroom, stepping over into the drawers of that one. And then it's got its second bedroom, the boys' bedroom, over here for the kids. Then if we come back down, and we have to walk all the way around, you get to this little ladder, come back down the ladder. We can now leave this little farm abode that you can see here. And we come down this way and this path. Again, I'm just gonna spread through this one as well, since there's no need to keep on seeing these same things over and over and over and over again. And now we get spit out into a second big biodome here. So this one is comprised of a lot of different buildings. So our first big building here, as you can see, is the shopping area, the mini shopping mall. So this one, as you can see, is a little bit different. And I think the big difference here, obviously the white outlines, but also the roof is not flat. Most of these roofs are flat, and this one is not at all. This one is a weird looking shaped roof. And if you go inside this building, you can see on the bottom floor here, there's not really much. There's some storage, so some seating areas. When you step into the lift, you go into the clothes store on the second level. And then you go into the bar and restaurant over here. So you have the cooking area, some seating areas, and a bar and lounge up here at the top. As well as some really nice views out from these areas here. Now when we go all the way back down the lift, we come out into this little building here with these big white balconies. So these big white balconies are just scattered throughout this little village, this little building here. And these are just areas for people to sit and relax and lounge in their apartments. Because as you can see, these are all apartments. They have, of course, their bathrooms, as you can see, but they also have their areas to sleep and eat and do whatever they need to do. And then the top one is, because it doesn't have its own balcony, doesn't have enough space, this one is just a little science lab office. Now if we come all the way back down here, continue to walk through this build, you will notice this little one here. This is just a small little build, nothing really special on this one. I'm not going to showcase this one too much because this one's more basic. You have your bathrooms in the back and then just more basic apartments in here. I guess you can quickly walk in and you kind of see what each of them look like, what does the bathroom look like. They're all fairly similar to each other, and this one is more just a filler build right now. Now this is the tallest skyscraper in terms of levels in the entire build. This one is 9 stories with white outings, and it's tucked away here, hidden. As you can see, it goes pretty high, It's technically the highest building, but we're not going to talk about that aspect. Now, if you go in, you will be able to see more of your traditional apartments, right? With the white outings being your bathrooms, right? We've seen this before. But you can notice that there's these little adjacent connecting black things to this tower. Now if you step in, this one for instance is just another bedroom. Some of these are more storage space, but if you come over to this place, this is a storage facility. So basically every single level is jam-packed with like chests and barrels and crates and just storages as far as the eye can see in this little hidden room behind here. And if you come out to the door, you can see a little generator as well hidden in this back alley as you walk out of this area over here. And then finally, we get this little build here. Now this one is your big, old circular houses. So these are all apartments. They all have the same exact interior, so I'm not going to showcase them too heavily. But you have a little seating area, place to sleep, and bathroom. And these are all connected to this big pole, and they're just kind of scattered on and around the pole. And this is actually the highest point in the entire residential aspect of the build. I think it's right here. So if you want to see a pretty good view, this is a pretty good view. Although I think this personally is the best view right here in the entire build. But nonetheless, if you step inside of this little cylinder right here, you can see this is actually a little lift. And if you navigate through the end rods, you come down to the lift here. That will bring you all the way up to each of your floors marked by your doors. Now when you step out and you see this little exit here, you get into a final building of the showcase, and that is the last farm. Now this farm, which I didn't realize had these, but I'll deal with that later, is just a basic double-decked farm. That is for copy and pasting that yellow block. A generator, and you can see the ringed wheat fields are stuck above the farm at the top. If you want to get to the top, now you can walk around with some custom trees to these wheat fields. And then if you go inside the building itself, you can see it's pretty basic. It's just a basic room with a kind of like nice little greenhouse decor here. And if you go inside here, you go to the bathroom here at the bottom, which is very dimly lit. Didn't realize how dimly lit it was, but this is your bathroom here at the bottom. And yeah, that's pretty much all of the builds to showcase and walk through. I will say, if you want to see a little bit more of the wind turbine, I'll show you that now. Obviously, you have your top wind turbine up here, but if you also come, you have a solar panel, a little tail, and there is an interior all the way at the bottom. You come all the way to the bottom, and these are obviously all the exact same. And you come in through here. You have your own little interior, and this is just like some random gizmos that I added. I thought that would look good. Alright, and that is the build. So, yeah. A cinematic fly around for you guys to see the extent of it. But yeah, this is the entire one that I made. It took me probably about 40 to 50 hours to make. And I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's pretty good and pretty happy with the build. Actually, I would say one of my favorite views, if you want to see a pretty cool view, is right here. Because I think this one really showcases it on ground level. Plus, you can see some of the custom trees as well. So I'll send you guys off on this video. I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.